What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel. In our 2019 college football season simulations continue here with the Georgia Bulldogs on NCAA Football 14 with updated rosters for the 2019 season. That's why we call it NCAA Football 20. This is not the Madden mod. This is NCAA Football 14 on the PS3. Only way you can do all the teams, and only way you can get the 2019 rosters as well. Early on, Georgia up 3-0, looking to add to that, but it's Vanderbilt's defense coming up with a huge play right there on the goal line. They get the interception and run it all the way back for a touchdown. Yes, just a big turn of events in this game, and it gives Vanderbilt life. We move on to the second half, and that was still the score. The defenses are playing really well in this game, but Georgia finally does break back through. They take the lead 10-7. But Vanderbilt not going away. They take it down the field. They get stopped, and they would settle for a field goal, a chance to tie the game up, and they knock it through. So we're tied at 10 here in the fourth quarter. Again, upset alert, as you see a nice run there from DeAndre Swift, but they get stopped. Now Vanderbilt on 3rd and 7. They are not going to get stopped. They get the first down. But they do get stopped here, and they have to settle for the field goal. And they knock it through. So it's now Vanderbilt on top of Georgia in the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, it would come down to a 4th down and 1. Vanderbilt could have pretty much won this game with a stop, but Georgia is able to pick it up. Now with just 30 seconds to go, they go back to the ground. DeAndre Swift runs it into the end zone. Had a couple of big runs in that game, but that was the game winner as Georgia would beat Vanderbilt 17-13. It was a scare for Georgia, but they survive and they find a way to win. They then face Murray State and Arkansas State. We're going to assume that they win those two games. Don't have the rosters for those two teams. You can't even get the FCS teams anyway, so we couldn't get Murray State. But yeah, we're going to assume they win those games, and then they will move on to face Notre Dame, a big non-conference matchup. We actually showed this full game live on the channel back a few weeks ago. If you missed it and you want to watch the whole game, go ahead and check it out. But early on, it was Notre Dame. They were in control of this game. They got a touchdown here, and then late in the first quarter, Ian Book runs one in. It's 14-0 Irish, and they were adding to it here about halfway through the second quarter. They get another touchdown, and Notre Dame all of a sudden is up 21-0. Georgia in big trouble on a 3rd down and 6. Trying to get something going. They get stopped again, and it's the Notre Dame defense playing really well in this one. But now it's time for Georgia's defense to come up with a play. They hit the quarterback, fumble on the play, pick it up, they run it in for the touchdown, and finally they get on the scoreboard here before halftime. Big swing in this game to get on the board, and then it's the defense again coming up with a sack, and you just see they have the momentum now. And now on 3rd and long, they get another sack. There's a fumble, and they are just making plays. So we go to the third quarter now. After adding a field goal, Georgia now punches it in and has this thing down to 4. Get a stop. We go to the fourth quarter, and it's Jake Fromm again sneaking into the end zone. And just like that, Georgia has the lead in this game. Things just flipped complete 180 here. But Notre Dame not going away. They try to – actually, maybe they are, because Georgia's defense come up with another stop. It was all about this Georgia defense. And then they get the offense going. There goes DeAndre Swift. He's going to run one in, and Georgia opens up the lead. After being down 21-0, they score 31 straight points. Notre Dame under 2 minutes to play. They do get a big play here, and it keeps them in the game. It's not over yet. They get that touchdown. We have a 31-28 game, but they've really got to get this onside kick because they've only got one timeout. They're not able to get it, and Georgia wins. And again, that fumble, that defensive touchdown right there was the difference in this game. It completely shifted the momentum. It got the defense playing better for Georgia, and they went on a tear to win this game 31-28. So a couple of bad games for Georgia. Against Vanderbilt, they didn't play great early on. Against Notre Dame, we'll see if they finally break through and have a good game. Well, it's not looking good against Tennessee as they're down 14-6 here in the second quarter. Now Fromm throwing it, completes it. Somehow that ball got through the defenders, and that's going to be a touchdown. Georgia now 14-12 as they would go for 2 and not get it. So Tennessee's touchdown actually puts them up by 2 possessions. It's 21-12 here before halftime. Georgia trying to get that lead down a little bit. They take a shot deep, and that is a touchdown. Lawrence Cager making the catch, 54 yards. And the Bulldogs are back within 2. But Tennessee's offense really played well in this game. Guarantano to the end zone. That's a touchdown, and we have a 28-19 game. Georgia in danger here on 1st and 10 for Tennessee. They're looking for more. Guarantano going to the end zone, and it's intercepted. And again, it's the defense coming up with a play to maybe shift the momentum in this game. Georgia takes it down the field. Jake Fromm is able to find his way in from less than a yard out. And now we'll see if the defense can do it again. Guarantano on 3rd down and 10. They're stopped. And I think that flag was on Tennessee. So Georgia now with the football back, they have a chance to finally take the lead. They're not going to get a touchdown, but this field goal still gives them the lead as they're up 29-28. Tennessee having the lead most of the game, now struggling, and there's the Georgia defense. They come up with a pick 6, but it was just a 1-point game before that, and now it's an 8-point game, so it's not over. On 3rd down and 12, Tennessee going to take a shot deep, and that's intercepted. And you see, it's the same thing as that happened in the Notre Dame game. The defense coming up with a big play, and the momentum shifts, and they're fired up, and Georgia just starts playing a whole lot better. As you see, again, the defense, it's a totally different game here late in this ball game. The defense playing totally different. And now they get a big 1st down. Nice effort from DeAndre Swift to get that one, and they would then end the game right here. Jake Fromm, a little 1-yard run, or a 5-yard run from on 3rd down and 1, and Georgia is able to win it 36-28. So again, they start slow, but they finish strong, and the Bulldogs remain undefeated. Next up is South Carolina. We go early in this game. Georgia, DeAndre Swift from 2 yards out takes it in for the touchdown, and the Bulldogs up. Then again, it's on the ground. This time Brian Harrion runs it in, and Georgia's up 14-0. South Carolina trying to come back. Remember, South Carolina had a great season. They went 9-3. If you watched that video, you already know that, and you already know the results to this game. But some of you probably didn't see that, so we're going to show it. South Carolina, though, comes back, and they get this touchdown. It is 14-all. So this time Georgia actually started off strong, and then they gave up the lead. But they get it back here as Fromm runs it in, and it's now 21-14 in the 4th quarter. Jake Fromm again making a big play with that touchdown. And the Bulldogs are up by 2 touchdowns. But still time to come back for South Carolina. There's a big play from the defense, though. Bentley is sacked. It's 3rd down and 13. They've got to have this 1st down. This is really big. Bentley's going to launch it deep. It's knocked away, and that's probably going to do it. But they do still keep fighting. They get a touchdown here, and it's a 7-point game with under a minute to play and all 3 timeouts. The game's not over. They go for the onside kick. They can't get it, but they have all 3 timeouts. So there's still a chance. It's a chance. And on 3rd down and 13, DeAndre Swift runs it, and Georgia is short of the 1st down. They're going to go for the long field goal here instead of punting it or maybe going for it, and they miss the field goal. And now South Carolina has life. They have life in this game. 30 seconds to play. Jake Bentley in trouble, and he fumbles the football. Georgia gets it. They recover, and they actually run all the way back for a touchdown. You really just want to go down in this situation, but you can't tell a kid not to score a touchdown as Georgia runs it all the way back. 35-21 the final score. Almost a crazy comeback from South Carolina. If they were able to get that touchdown on that final drive, that would have been a pretty wild finish. We would have been going to overtime, and who knows what would have happened. So let's move on now to the next game. Georgia is going to be at home again, this time against Kentucky. Kentucky we just did. They were the last team we showed you. So if you're watching all the videos, again, you've probably already seen these results. But it's Tyler Simmons coming up with a big catch there. Georgia's up 14-7. And there's the defense coming up with the pick 6 again. We've seen, actually not a pick 6. They're stopped at the 5. We've seen a lot of big turnovers that this defense has forced this season here on these simulations, as Georgia now up 28-19 in the 3rd quarter. So Kentucky's still hanging in there, and they come up with a huge play here. It is intercepted, and there's no one that's going to catch him. Kentucky runs this thing all the way back for a touchdown, and Kentucky's back in the game. Georgia's 4th turnover of the day. That's really the only thing that's been stopping them as DeAndre Swift runs one in. It's 35-26. But Kentucky, near the goal line, they throw an interception. And there were a lot of turnovers in this game. That's the 2nd for Kentucky. And again, Georgia had 5. But it's the run game here for Georgia, punching it in. Brian Harrion gives them the lead, and they are starting to pull away a little bit. But it's not over just yet. Still a 2-possession game. Kentucky here getting this touchdown to make it. Actually, they're going to go for 2 and try to make this a 7-point game. This is big. Terry Wilson looking. He's going to run, and he picks it up. So Kentucky has it down to a 7-point game. Georgia in trouble. Potentially. 3rd down and 3. They need this first down, and it's Jake Fromm using his legs. Who saw that one coming? He picks up the first down, and then one more first down here would actually ice this one away. It's over. Georgia is going to beat Kentucky 41-34. It winds up being a pretty close game. It kind of felt like Georgia controlled this throughout, but they had all those turnovers, and it almost caught up to them, but they do survive. And still, this Georgia team is undefeated as they get ready for maybe their biggest game of the season against the Florida Gators. Let's go to that game now. It is 7-3 here, Florida on top in the first quarter. Jake Fromm looking to throw. He is going to throw an interception. And there's the Florida defense coming up with a big turnover here early in the ball game. This would lead to a Felipe Franks touchdown run, and Florida's up 14-3. 14-3 Gators. Georgia trying to come back. Now Jake Fromm has them down the field, and he throws another interception. It's the Florida defense coming up with another turnover here, and they are starting to control this game, but actually Georgia comes right back. The ball is kind of hung in the air, and Georgia's going to take that thing all the way back for the touchdown. It's a pick six, and the Bulldogs are back in this game. Move on to the third quarter, 20-13. Georgia still down, but Jake Fromm running one in, and yes, I realize he's not going to run this much in real life. It's the quarterbacks run way too much on this game, and there's really nothing you can do about it. But there's the Georgia defense coming up with a stop. They have all the momentum. Jake Fromm on 3rd down and 4. He's looking for his man. Delivers, but it's dropped. Oh, look at that. That was a perfect pass. Should have been a touchdown. So instead, Georgia has to settle for the field goal, but they make it, and it's now 23-20. 4 minutes to play. Still time for Florida. On 3rd down and 8. This is a big play in this game with about 2.5 minutes to play. Frank's going to go to the screen pass, and they're not going to get it. So Georgia's defense comes up with a stop. I don't know about that play call. 23-20, still the score, and now Georgia can kind of end this game with a first down. And there goes DeAndre Swift for 9 yards, and that would end it. Time would run out, and Florida is going to come up short. Georgia wins it 23-20, and this Georgia team still undefeated. Is anyone going to beat them? It's not looking likely as they continue to win here. The next game is against Missouri, and it's another home game for Georgia. So they're back at home early on. Jake Fromm in the shotgun, going to take one deep down the field. Basically a jump ball. It's tipped. And I realize Jeremiah Holloman is not on the team, but I recorded a lot of these, all the SEC games actually, like 2 months ago. It's just taken me a long time to put everything together to do these season sims. But anyways, Jake Fromm here makes it 17-0 as Georgia is really controlling this game. 23-6 at this point, fourth quarter. Defense for Georgia really played well in this one. And there goes Fromm deep again. That's a touchdown, diving catch. And Georgia's going to win it 30-6. So Missouri just, again, couldn't really get the offense going as the Bulldogs remain undefeated and get this win. Again, 30-6 the final score. Up next, Georgia goes on the road to face Auburn. They're up 20-10 here in the second half, but Auburn gets this touchdown and climbs back in the game. But there comes DeAndre Swift, and now Georgia back up by 10. This time on a little, oh, that's going to be a big play. That's going to be a touchdown, actually. Auburn taking that in. It was actually Joey Gatewood keeping it, and the Tigers back in this game, down by 3. They get a stop. They take the ball down the field, and they get stopped. So they're going to have to settle for the field goal, and we are tied at 27. 5:04 to play. Georgia gets stopped on 3rd down. They kick a field goal, and it was the defense is really coming up with a lot of big plays. Just 12 seconds to play. Auburn needs to get into field goal range, and they deliver with that pass inside the 30-yard line, and they've got a chance. This is for overtime. The kick is up, and it's good. This was a crazy game, just a wild finish. We go to overtime tied at 30. Auburn gets on the board first, and now it's Georgia's turn on 4th down and 14. Last chance. Are they finally going to lose the game? No, not here at least, because they pick up the first down, and then they run it in. So Georgia is up. Actually, they tie the game, I should say, at 37, heading into overtime number 2. Now Jake Fromm with it on 2nd and 8. Completes it. That's a touchdown, and Georgia's on top. Can Auburn answer back? 2nd and goal. They go to the ground. It's Whitlow. He runs it in, and Auburn ties this game up. We go to overtime number 3 on 3rd down and 12. Joey Gatewood completes that pass, but they're going to be short of the first down and have to settle for a field goal. That means Georgia can win this game with a touchdown. They have it here on the move. They go to the screen. Can Auburn get the stop and keep this game alive? They do, but Now it's again Jake Fromm on the ground running it in for the touchdown. It's a win in the third overtime. Georgia survives 50-47. A crazy finish here, but the Bulldogs remain undefeated with just a couple of games left in the season. Up next, it's Texas A&M, and it's weird to see the schedule like this where they play Auburn and then Texas A&M and then Georgia Tech. Don't always see them having a real tough game at this point in the season. But anyways, Georgia's up 10-0, but A&M coming back in this game makes it 10-7. Now Fromm out of the shotgun looking. Going to the end zone. That's caught. That's the running back, Brian Harrion, making the catch. And Georgia's up 17-7. Now here comes A&M. They get it back down the field and they score. So we have a close game here, 20-14 late in the second quarter. It's a shootout as Kellen Mond finds his receiver and A&M has the lead in this game. And I think, yeah, that would take us to halftime. So we go to the third quarter now. Georgia adds a field goal, but there comes A&M and they take the lead back. 28-23 would be this. Actually, they're going to go for two. And they don't get it. They fumble. Georgia going to pick it up. And what do you know? This might actually be a 2-point play for the Bulldogs. So it becomes a 2-point game. Could have been a 5-point game. Instead, now it's a 2-point game. Actually, if they got the 2-point conversion, it would have been a 6-point game. So that's a huge swing. A 4-point swing. And Georgia now with the momentum back because of that play. They get it to the freshman George Pickens. And they're on top here. 36-27 now the score after a field goal, and it's the defense for Georgia coming up with a turnover, and that's pretty much going to end this game. I don't see, I mean, it's two-possession game under 3 minutes. Georgia, though, going to try to really put it away, and they do with Brian Harrion's touchdown run on a little option play. Georgia gets the win, 44-27. The Bulldogs will finish SEC play undefeated. We already know they're going to the SEC championship. If you watched all our other videos, you know that they will be playing Alabama. So we'll see if this prediction plays out in real life. But that game will be coming here on the channel once we break down all of the SEC teams. But Georgia up 3-0 here against Georgia Tech, and it's the Yellow Jackets getting a touchdown. They have a lead over Georgia in this game, looking to pull off a shocking upset and defeat an undefeated Georgia team that's probably ranked in the top 4 at this point, definitely in the top 4, probably number 2. Maybe even number 1, actually, because Alabama did lose a game. But we haven't done all the teams yet. Anyways, here comes Georgia, though. They do take the lead here, 13-7. Then a field goal makes it 16-7. And it was really a defensive game, low-scoring game. This touchdown puts Georgia up 23-7. And so they do stumble around. Actually, they go for 2 and make it 24-7. They do stumble around a little bit in this game early on, but they get it together, and it wasn't like the game was really that close. The offense struggled some for Georgia, but they get the win, 24-7. They finish off a perfect season. This is the first team we've had that's gone undefeated. Again, Alabama had a loss. LSU had a loss. We've only done the SEC teams. We know Clemson lost. Clemson lost to South Carolina, even though we haven't done the full Clemson season. So Georgia, yeah, probably would be number 1 heading into the SEC championship. Again, we have to wait and see what the other conferences look like. But this was a great season here for the Bulldogs. They had some scares. They had some sloppy play at times. But they're able to win every game, and they finish undefeated. Thank you for watching this video. If you're an SEC football fan, please subscribe to the channel. Leave us your thoughts down in the comments below. And for the latest in SEC football, keep it right here.